How do you transport your rods in a truck? Do you just throw them in the back where they could get all banged up? Well, on a short trip, that may not be a problem. But let me show you a dollar store trick to protect these things on a longer expedition. Stay tuned. One of the most frustrating things that can happen to you is to break a rod when you're transporting it. And even if you're on just a short trip, you may want to take some shortcuts. But if you're bouncing around on a four-wheel drive road or something and your rod is bouncing in the back of your truck, you know, you're likely to really crack it if it's a high-quality rod. Well, I was watching the Fish Yacker channel, which is a great channel, and I'll link it up. And what his idea was is you get a pool noodle, and he was using one of the expensive $5 versions that you get from Walmart. This is the $1 version you can get from the dollar store. And his idea was you just take the pool noodle, use the hole, and then you run this down your rod. Well, that is going to work to a certain extent until you get to the larger guides here at the bottom. So what I've done, in addition to going to the dollar store, is I've cut a line here, and I'll show you how to do that nice and straight later. And now all I do is I take the rod and I just stuff it into the hole on the pool noodle. And now my rod is protected. All of the guides are protected pretty well. Now I've got this spot up here at the top, and my other pool noodle got away. So if you've got a long rod, you know, you may want to use two pool noodles to complete the contraption and tape them together if you're not going to use them for anything else. And I'll show you what I use my pool noodles for when I'm not using them for this in a minute. Now this can then go in the back of the truck, and it's not going to bounce around and get broken. Now if you're OCD like I am about having a perfectly straight cut in the pool noodle, well, what I do is I'll put it between two 2x4s, and then I will run my knife down it using the 2x4 to create the straight line. Just go down, and I've made sure that the tip is not any farther in than the hole. And there we go. Perfection! Now your large guides are going to hang out of the pool noodle a little bit, especially if you use these dollar store, and you can see the difference in size between the $5 version and the $1 version. And so if you're concerned about that, you could get the larger version, cut off the bottom of it, and use that to protect your larger guides. They're probably still going to stick out just a little bit, but it's better than nothing. Now let me show you where I store all this stuff when I'm not using it. Space is always at a premium no matter where you are, and I like getting two uses out of as many things as I possibly can. So when I'm not using the pool noodles to protect one of my rods, I store them inside my kayak, and this is where they also serve double duty to keep my kayak from sinking if I flip. I've got another video right here that talks about how to use pool noodles to displace water from the inside and increase the flotation of your kayak. When I'm not using it, it just goes right back in here, and now I've always got them available. What do you guys think about this idea? And I thank Fish Yacker for putting me on to the first part of the idea, and I encourage you guys to check out his channel. And I'll link that up next.